Hi, everyone. Welcome to part two of the course. You're a few weeks in, and I've been doing a little looking, and it looks like things are going great there. For section two, we do change it up a little bit. And so, what I want to do is just walk you through what we'll be doing differently and give you an overview. And I've got some tips that will make everybody's life easier. Okay, so to start out with, we're moving into middle grade and young adult right now. So I'm just going to go through the introduction that's pasted below, and I'm going to be adding things that I don't have the bandwidth to type. So please watch the whole thing. It's going to be long, but from here on out, what I'll do is anything that I have to tell you that's not written, I'll do that up front. And then if you don't like watching this the whole time, then I'll tell you when you can stop, then you can just read it and move on with your life. Okay, so for today, we're moving up to this. Um, I'm just going to, a little overview about the structure is we use oh, I had such a good acronym for it. So basically, you're going to read, you're going to explore, you're going to respond. So if you look up here, you can see on the content page, this section here is going to be where I have the content. It's going to have the same thing from the content in the introduction section, but for each individual week. And that's for you to read. I've got bullet points up top so you can see. Actually, let's see. We can look at last year's a little bit. So see, you'll have a video to watch, and then all the things that you need to do are listed right here. Sometimes I put the optional reading here. Sometimes I just put it into the talk section. Ooh, and then I'll put down at the bottom everybody who's in each group for the book discussion group, and that will be helpful for when you're trying to collaborate. More on that later. All right, I don't have a textbook for this class because we don't need one. The world is our textbook. So I do recommend Michael Cart's Young Adult Fiction from Romance to Realism. It's um, it's a good overview. If you want to go deeper into all of the YA, I always, whenever I read anything about YA, think, well, I wouldn't have said that. I would have put it this way. Of course, I'm not jumping up to write a book. So, there's that. Then Rose Brock's Young Adult Literature in Action, a librarian's guide is also pretty good. If you want to take a look at those, I used to have some book list books when I first started this, but they're all so long in the tooth. And now because of the Instagram, you kids and your Instagram, because of the internet and things like Book Talk and Bookstagram and all that, it is easier, I think, to find a lot more different, you know, YA books out there. So feel free to look for some of those things. You will need them for your blog. So let's start with the blog. Going back here, let's see, modules. Okay, so all right, up here is your blog. And stop it, I don't need you to do that. Okay, and your blog is you're gonna find, I believe I said 3 to 5. Yes, 3 to 5 books. And these are going to be wherever you want to find them. You can find them on the internet, although there is something to be said for going to your public library's teen room or, a bookstore and touching books with your hands. But you can find them wherever you like, and you're going to just give a little annotation. So the title of the book, the author of the book, one sentence plot summary, where you found it, and why you chose it to be highlighted. So you can use any format that you want that changes. So do not make a website with these books. It will make me bonkers. You have to use a blog, Instagram, or what is the other one? TikTok. And when you post them, you have to put the specific link to that week's specific entry. Okay. Don't just put your generic one. You can do this in a blog by clicking on the title of your post for that week. When you're not in the editing tool, don't be in the editing tool. Click on the blog post for that week, just in your blog like a normal person, and then paste that into the I keep wanting to use the word attendance, assignment window. Okay. Blog's pretty simple. It shouldn't take you that long. And you're going to be exploring different titles through different means anyway. So that'll be good. All right. Then we also have the discussions, which I love the discussions. And those are, you have two of them. One of them is based on this reading. To be clear, you don't have to do all this reading. You find what interests you, you read the ones that interest you, you post it in the blog, I mean, in the discussion. And then by reading the discussion, you get an idea. Oh, do I want to read this? Nah, doesn't sound like it's for me, and you can move on. There's no requirement of reading any of these, although I hope that you will look at least some of them. But those of you who really like to dig in, go in early and write some stuff for everybody. You should look at least one or two. But I'm not going to make it a priority because like in your bye week, you're not going to want to be as busy. All right. What's a bye week, you ask? Oh, before I go there, the blog. You have the discussion, you have two discussions a week. You have to go into each of those discussions 2 different days. In my other class, it's 3 different days, but because there's so much reading here, you only have to do it twice. All right. So I have in the introduction to part two all of the different rubrics that you'll need. For the discussion rubric, what you need to know is if you just put something like, hey, great post, that counts for one. You're being supportive. If you put something that you you mention something about how it affected you or a little something, that's a 2 point post, but it can still be brief. A 3 point post, you're putting some insight in here. So it's not that hard to do. I mean, most people, put in 3 point posts. So no need to worry. But the conversation is what makes this class. If you've been in a class with me before, but if you're new, the discussion is really what makes us feel more like a cohort, which leads me to the response piece. Okay, let's see how did I delineate everything in the response piece up here? Oh, I did. Look at me go. Okay, so there are 6 different types of assignments. One is literary criticism. You're writing a 3 to 5 page essay about your book, and you're treating it like with the care it deserves. That one you do individually. It's not a group project unless you can figure out a way to make that work, but I think that would be difficult. Okay, the next step is audio visual. This is a podcast, a book talk, a book trailer, anything that you want to do that uses digital media to respond to your book. And this one is a great one for collaboration because you can get on Zoom and you guys can have a discussion and it works great. But anything you want to do is fine. Curriculum connection, and I highly recommend this for I don't know what week it is. Week 11. That's when you're looking at sort of how to tie young adult to curriculum. It's much more, classroom based. You don't, you have to tie it to the standards. It doesn't have to be a hardcore lesson plan. I should have it be a hardcore lesson plan, but it's summer. And you know what? I've been a school librarian almost 20 years, and my job has never required me to write a lesson plan. Nonetheless, those of you who aren't in education, those of you who are coming from teaching, please, you go. But those of you who are not yet in education should be aware of what a lesson plan looks like. So I'm going to post the lesson plan template in week 11. You don't have to necessarily fill it out, but I'll talk about that more in week 11. But so you're going to be tying that to curriculum. Also a good one, if you can pair up with somebody who's in a school, they can really help you get a feel for what goes on there. Then this is kind of my new favorite is visual representation. So make art, create a PowerPoint, choreograph an interpretive dance, draw comics, make a digital poster, 30-word maximum, no more than 30 words. Canva is great for this. People have been handing in some beautiful stuff. And this one's fun too because you can sort of split up the content. And if this is a good one, all right, I'm going to have to take a look and edit this. My internet right now is being a total butt. I'm sorry to use that kind of language. All right. I believe that where I left off was in talking about visual representation, and I became so excited that I lost my internet connection. So that's a good one to collaborate because you can split it up. All right. So collaboration. For at least one of these, you need to collaborate with somebody in the class. So I'm going to put up a spreadsheet in the introduction section that has everybody's email so that you can, even if you're in a different class, but I would urge you to organize that kind of, I feel bad because kind of each book tells you what sort of work you want to do, but try to organize it ahead of time. And this is on you. We have to be collaborators. You've got to reach out to people. So, you're already talking in the other class. You've already got discussion. You know who you might want to work with. Reach out to them And I know it's uncomfortable for some people, but you can't wait to be asked. If you're the sort of person who has to wait to be asked, you should probably find a different field of work because school libraries are about collaborating. All right, that's that. And then you get a bye week. One of the weeks you don't have to do anything. Um, so there are four different types, and then 4 weeks that you need to do. 1 week you don't have to do anything. Week 12 is no longer one of the responses. For week 12, you're going to write an essay about yourself, and it can be, 2 to 3 pages. An essay about yourself as a tween or teen reader. Like, what was it that drew you to reading? Maybe I'm always amazed when I see people writing about how they didn't read as kids, but fell in love with it later. Um, and then other people who, their whole life has been reading. I am one of them. And people have focused on the book that turned them, and that's always powerful too. So feel free, just look within, and then but you don't have an assigned book for week 12. For week 12, you're just going to do a book review. It can be something that you read new for the class, but it can also be just a favorite written within the last 10 years that you're presenting to the rest of the class in your book discussion. Um, all right. I believe that that is much of what I wanted to say to you. Oh, I'm still, okay, let me go back here to modules, which you can no longer see, but I can still see them. Book discussion, general discussion, blog, response. I think oh no. I'm so sorry. There's one more thing. All right. It's really not that bad. So there's a final project, and I will just share this. Please tell me I'm still in Zoom and I have not stopped. I will share this just so you can see it right now. Desktop 2, share. Okay, so it's a literacy promotion event. So you can do a summer reading project, battle of the books, writer's workshop, anything that you want to do that that promotes literacy in your school. And actually, a former student who took this class ended up doing a literature bowl, like a quiz bowl with books, and it's extremely successful. And she's kind of looking at sort of opening it up statewide with the Mass Teen Choice books. Well, she uses the what's the other one that they're not teens for? The children's Good Lord, Children's Book Award? I don't know. But anyway, so I mean, you can really turn this into something that you can use in your work. So the rubric is on the assignment, or will be on the assignment once I put it up. Must include a diverse list of at least 15 YA books. You know where you'd be a good place to find those is in your blog. So you have to have 15 books that you would use some way in conjunction with this. Then it needs to be real world. So it can't be a super expensive thing where you get Jason Reynolds to come to your school. So if whatever it costs, you have to find out where you can get the money. And the PTOs are good, but if you want to do something bigger, you can look into grants and things. ALA has a bunch of money. All right, so you have to say where you're going to be getting the grant. Just assume that you'll get it. Let's see. It may be directed at the entire school population or a specific segment, but please be clear about who your audience is. And then it should be 3 to 5 pages. If you have you can do a PowerPoint if you want. If it's non-traditional format, that's okay. But the work should be, this should be something that you can unpack in your library if you wanted to, or share with other people. You may work with a partner or a group on this if you want. Pretty much anything other than your personal essay and maybe your literary essay can be group work. I love group work. I love collaborating. I'm very bossy. But so if you find a partner that you like working with and you're like, hey, let's get all this stuff done together, then that's great. I love collaboration. Um, Gosh, have I run out of everything? Don't be scared at how many things are listed on the modules because I put way too much stuff and I have a hard time. I have a hard time saying goodbye. So, oh, looks like my internet's going to poop out again. All right. So that is all that you need to know about this. I'm going to end the video now. Thanks for sticking it out. Let me stop sharing. I'll be making a little video like this every week, but hopefully with less technical problems and hopefully not as irritating and shorter. Thanks for sticking it out, and I will see you on the discussion boards. Goodbye.